some thoughts that I had. Maybe I'll talk a little bit first instead of waiting until after the meditation, because every time I've done the meditation for 5 minutes and then I kind of talk after. But maybe I'll do that first and then end with the meditation this time. Is obviously, you know, we want peace and unity in the world. There's always going to be some challenges, but you know, there's also a lot of stuff in the world that's been passed down that doesn't really need to be there. And you know, it always starts with ourselves, you know, trying to find that peace within. You know, it helps us individually, but the more people that are able to come to terms with the various conflicts within themselves, I think the more it also helps the world, because then you also see each other in a better light. And yeah, I think there is just a lot of what's out there that comes from real deep hearts that are from within people. And a lot of times people don't even realize that they have that. And so that's why working on ourselves and learning how to be more gentle with ourselves and giving ourselves grace and trying to counteract those thoughts inside our heads that can sometimes be very painful. Directed ourselves, never thinking we're good enough, sometimes downright hating ourselves, never seeing that you've done enough, always thinking, oh, well, it's not enough. Even when people think that you've done enough, you're like, no, I'm not doing good enough, I'm not doing enough, it's not as much as what they say, all those things. But, you know, the biggest thing is the negative feelings and the, you know, feeling like you can't do it, and then always trying to push harder to prove to sometimes the outside world, sometimes it's just the inside world, the thoughts in your head. Sometimes it's just a feeling. You don't even have a specific person or people you're trying to prove to. But working on all that, and I'm going to put this down. That way I stop shaking the camera. I just realized I'm still holding it. I'm used to doing videos when I'm on the normal camera, not using TikToks where it has vibration reduction, whereas here on the live, there's no vibration reduction. That's probably better. You know, guess what I was saying, love more, judge less. This is a shirt from a nonprofit that I followed, although she's ended it recently, but she's doing something else now. But it went for 20 years, and she ended it on a high note saying, hey, she's accomplished her mission and moved on to something else. But I think it's very important to always be becoming more aware of not just maybe the fears or the anxieties that you have, the drivers that keep you from doing things, but becoming aware of what's underneath that might be driving it. You know, what does this imply? Because a lot of times we don't even realize it. We just know that, oh, we're anxious. We don't, and logically we're like, well, I shouldn't be this anxious. It's not that big of a deal. No one's really going to make fun of me or this or that. You know it, but you still have the fear anyway. Like for me, for instance, when I've had one with friends and they are even just in their home, not even out, just in their home, and they want to do some karaoke type stuff. I've never been able to join. It's been a while since the last time I was in that situation as well, because I just have this dread of it. But I'm like looking at it going, I'd like to join them. They're having fun. And I know that they're not going to judge me. It's just friends. It's not even out and about in public. But that fear is just there and blocking. And there's still stuff there. I mean, I have an anxiety disorder. But when you become more aware of what really might be underneath, you know, it's things that, you know, would have been coming up from when you were a lot smaller. Sometimes people can remember specific instances. There's like, oh, well, hey, this is actually behind us. Other times it's just little things that add in. And for me, I don't have a lot of memories from growing up. So therapists have asked me, it's like, well, do you have any specific memories of this or that? And I'm like, I don't. I just have very general stuff. But you don't even need to be aware of the specific memory. sometimes it's just being aware of what it really deep down implies. What, like a fear of being seen. One of the things I realized before was I was having a anxiety about some stuff is just underneath it really meant that my leg's shaking. Really meant that there's a part of me that was afraid to be seen, which I hadn't really seen it as that before. But then when I realized, well, if there's a part of you that is afraid to be seen, that must imply something. It implies that, oh, well, then that means that there's a part of you that feels it's unsafe to be seen. Because if you didn't think it was unsafe subconsciously, well, then you wouldn't be afraid of it. You know, so it's not just, it ends at, oh, there's a part of me that's afraid of this. It's like, well, what's implied? It means that you think there's something that's unsafe. And then it's slowly helping to teach that part of your mind that actually is safe. You know, logically, we might be going, someone doesn't like it, big deal. But maybe slowly putting yourself in situations where that part of you gets triggered, but not too much. Sometimes you push yourself too fast, it can backfire. But putting yourself in these situations over and over where your mind slowly says, okay, this actually is safe. And that can help get over these things. You know, life's just constantly always learning and even healing from some of these inner things isn't about healing even. The healing is almost a side effect. When you're going through the healing process of trying to get through these, really what it is that you're learning how to be a better caregiver for yourself. You're learning how to be more effective with yourself. Life is really just a constant stream of learning and growth. I mean, that's just life in general. Trees, animals, people, you know, skills that we're learning, it's all constantly evolving, constantly changing. And your healing journey is really the same thing. It's, instead of seeing it as, oh, I have this destination of healing to reach, you can be looking at it going, well, no, I'm just continually learning. I'm learning how to be better with myself, learning how to be more effective and become more aware of when I'm getting into these triggered states and learning ways that work better for me. Because each person's going to have a little different. You know, there's a lot of overlap, but there's also, we each have our own things that work well for us. So I think seeing it as just, hey, this is all just continual learning. And I love learning. It can also help take some of the pressure off of, well, I've got to heal. I've got to reach this stage to heal. It's like, well, no, I'm just going to continually be learning. I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life. It's just part of life. And I think that can help take some of the pressure off of, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I haven't reached this part. I'm still having the trouble with these things. I'm still having this anxiety or this fear, you know, and not giving yourself credit when you see that, well, actually, I have gotten past some things. It's like, yeah, there's some things that still need to work. And maybe some of them, they'll never get through all the way. But it's always just about taking those steps and continually growing. And I think that's the important thing. And when people are really getting at themselves and trying to understand themselves more, but also knowing that, you know, you're just, some things you're never really going to fully understand. It doesn't just help you, it helps the world overall. So yeah. So for anyone who's joined, the main point of this is to do 5 minutes of group intention meditation on peace, love, unity, and respect. This is my 5th day doing it. I'm doing it for a full month until the 21st of next month, the equinox. And I'm doing it every day at noon here. I've been starting off each of my lives with the 5 minutes. And then I usually just start talking, which is never a plan. I just kind of say what's on my mind, but I decide, oh, I'll talk about something at the beginning this time. which I just did. So I'm going to do that 5 minutes meditation now, and then I have a meeting just shortly after that. So I'll end the live after the meditation. And if you want to join with the meditation, it's just about taking 5 minutes, maybe picture the world, just bring an intention into your heart for peace, love, unity, and respect within yourself, and within people around. And never know what group intentions can help in the world in some way, along with action. And meditation is also good. It helps calm you down. If your mind starts wandering, it's okay. You just say, oh, you notice that your mind wanders, you started thinking about something else. You're like, oh, no, I wanted to focus on my intention. So you just simply think about your intention again. And it wanders again, and then you notice at some point, you're like, oh, let me bring my mind back to the intention. And that's all it is. You don't have to sit there and stay focused the whole time. It's not how our minds work. So yeah, I'm going to start up some music and also a timer, and then 5 minutes of silence, and while we're just focusing on that, maybe even picture the world, picture love going through you and going out from you. Didn't know I needed a live to pop up my FYP, but I definitely did. No problem. I'm glad you showed. I'm glad it happened to show up. I get that a lot. People have told me a lot that I have a very calming and soothing voice, which is, I've always, when people try to tell me this, I was like, that's kind of like so bizarre to hear, because I've got a lifelong anxiety and everything. But I've had enough people tell me this is like, okay, yeah, I get it. So it's 5 minutes there. And I got to remember to move the timer off of the center of the screen. The timer also doesn't make any noise. So I have to like poke my eye open once in a while to see if it's like near the end, because it doesn't tell me when it's up. I guess they assume that you're not going to be closing your eyes while you're doing the live. I should like bring my tablet or something like that, put a timer on that, or maybe see about the phone. I haven't switched over to my phone's timer and let it try to do that at the same time. But that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, part of doing this and just sitting there with my eyes closed for 5 whole minutes on the live is like it's part of facing uncomfortable things myself, because you're like, okay, I know that random people are coming in and seeing a person just sitting there with a timer counting down, so there's something that's obviously happening for why they have their eyes closed, but it's unusual, so you're like, oh. But just doing, facing that it's another thing that helps remind the mind that, hey, it's safe. This is important to me. I'm wanting to do this group meditation, this intention on peace, love, unity, and respect. And I don't know if it makes a difference, but hey, it's worth it. And it's safe to just sit there on video for 5 minutes, making no noise. And at the very least, it helps teach your own mind it's safe to do this. I want to do this. There's nothing wrong with it. And, very slowly help it to rewire for some of that internal fear of judgment, going, okay, even if someone did judge me, big deal. It doesn't matter. It's not like, sitting there doing nothing is hurting anything. So it does, it retrains the mind. And you can do little things like this, because the first 2 days, I was feeling more uncomfortable doing this, but I was doing it anyway. Just telling myself, it's okay, Ken. But now I'm not really paying much attention to it at all, not even noticing it at all. I won't give up trying, Nicholas, and thank you. This is all very important to me. I'm doing great, Grace. I've been doing this I started my videos in summer 2022 and been working toward being a coach, which I actually did launch my coaching business in the fall. I don't have any clients yet, but I did launch my business in the past month and a half. I've been kind of like doing other things and avoiding, because there's still some internal things in me too. But I could have gone back into the software where I used to be working before. But doing this and working toward the coaching, and also getting through some of the internal things that I've been fighting for my whole life, but trying to work through and get better at for the past 3.5 years, it's been important to me. In a lot of ways, doing it this way has been the harder path, because like I said, I could have still worked on my own self and then just gone back to software, which I still enjoy working on software, but it's not where my heart is anymore. At least not as a career. But a lot of the things that sent me into multi-month depressions, 23, 24, was specifically because my mind was terrified of being a coach, is saying, no, you can't. Whereas if I had gone back to software, I wouldn't have had those times. It was fighting with that. So doing this and not giving up on myself, saying, no, this is important, this is what I want to do, even if I'm still going through these challenges myself, it was worth taking a hard route. It's very worth it. And I do have to get going now. So have a lovely day, everyone. And I will be back again tomorrow at 12 Eastern time for another 5 minutes, and whatever I happen to decide to talk about at that point as well. Take care. See ya.